Hello everyone, my name is Daniel Zhao, and today me and my group members will be giving you a presentation on our project, the Retro Gaming Pi, and my other two partners is Brandon and Junsu.
As for the rationale for our project, we wanted to use a Raspberry Pi to create a retro arcade console and create a nostalgic feeling for people in the 80s and 90s within our system. We decided to use the retro console to download our retro games in the Pi, and we connected a retro-looking controller to work like an arcade console that we used to play when we were young.
Connection to Pi architectures. To prepare our project, we have thought about three procedures. Number 1, we connect Pi to the retro console. Number 2, we download retro games in the Pi. And number 3, link the retro controller to the Pi. When we were thinking about the device we wanted to connect, we thought about the Raspberry Pi for different reasons. First of all, Raspberry Pi is a low-cost, low-powerful, and highly customizable platform for us to remake our memories back in life. And then for the software, we decided to use an open source program called RetroPie as our operating systems. It's designed to run Pi procedures and allow us to optimize Pi hardware and system, allowing us to connect the controllers we wanted. When we were thinking about the other devices we could use for our project, we had some downfalls for other devices because other devices were either hard to change or hard to optimize it. Therefore, some devices had troublesome connecting with the programs we wanted to use. Or, even if we were able to make it, it would only work on keyboard but not on the controllers or work on the other speakers. Therefore, we weren't able to optimize it properly. And lastly, Pi was very small devices but also a highly working program. Therefore, it was easy for us to move around while we were making the actual structures of hardware and then the software of it because we didn't have specific place for it. So the Pi was our best solution to make our project come in life.
The procedures we followed going into this project were very simple and very straightforward. First, we had to download the retro game and implement it inside of the Pi. We tested if the game worked well with the keyboard, which it did, which made us very happy because then we were able to focus on the other more important task. We had to buy the retro console and plug it into the Pi, which was very seamless. And after that, we were able to sync the controller to the Pi. Once again, we had to test it to make sure this worked with the controller, and it did. And we found it more enjoyable playing on the controller than we did with the keyboard. After we enjoyed playing some of our favorite games with the retro console, we had to design a box for the controller to sit in. We had to measure the dimensions of everything on the box to make sure that all the controls sat smoothly inside of this box. And after we did that, we had to cover the box in tape to get it covered in red. This way it matched the theme of the retro arcade that we were trying to fulfill. After that, we had to go out and purchase a monitor. This way we could design and make the monitor match the theme of the controller and make our project look like an actual retro arcade game.
Hi, my name is Daniel, and I'm going to be talking about the results of the project. So, starting off, overall, I would say the project was a success. We were able to play a variety of games with multiple controllers. I was able to play a variety of games with multiple systems, such as the NES, Super Nintendo. I had some Sega Genesis games. I played some Nintendo 64 games too. So overall, I was able to also get 2 controllers. I was able to play with my roommate, and later on, I'll probably show some gameplay of the consoles. So yeah. The software also includes a lot of customizable options for the gamepads, the graphical settings, and even custom themes. So in order to upgrade your Raspberry Pi experience or your RetroPie experience, you can upgrade these factors. The customizability with the gamepads is really great. You can connect any controller you want, really, and you can modify it however you want, which gives you a lot of flexibility. And for the graphics settings, being able to change them, make the game look a little different, those can be more appealing to the eye, and I really enjoyed that part of the project. And for the custom themes, just for the menu overall in the interface, you can change that, and I thought that was like a really nice part about it too, which made it a lot more appealing. So, like I said earlier, we played a variety of games like Mario Kart, Super Mario Bros. And Street Fighter. Learning how to troubleshoot. We learned how to troubleshoot and get around the issues that we faced. At the beginning, it was a little rough. Software was not cooperating with us, but with a lot of patience and just trying over and over again, we were able to get it done. So I would say I had a lot of fun doing this project, and I would say that the results of this whole project overall is just setting up the RetroPie as a fun and a rewarding experience for gamers who enjoy classical games and wanting to relive their nostalgia. It allows them to relive some of their favorite, relive some of their favorite childhood gaming experiences while, being able to use new features and play new games. Alrighty. So, moving on to troubleshooting, I would say at the beginning, when we all decided to choose the project, we all thought it'd be pretty fun and entertaining, and it wouldn't be too difficult, but we ran into some issues along the way. So, the first main issue that we ran into was the Raspberry Pi. It just kept crashing while, we were playing games, and it was really frustrating because we didn't understand the air behind it. So, just randomly while we were playing, it would just crash. So this is one of the most frustrating parts about this project because learning what the error was really tough. I ended up having to reset the RetroPie at least 2 times, and on the second time, it started working. For the optimization part of it, changing some settings around, things like that, using different controllers, trying not to overload or overwork the Pi. I think one main issue of the Pi is sometimes it gets really hot if you play for a long time, so making sure it gets that proper ventilation, cooling it off, I think that's a very vital part to making sure that you're able to enjoy your experience. Another issue we had was the Bluetooth overall. Being able to use Bluetooth to connect to a wireless speaker or controller. I would say I was able to fix this by installing some additional packages, but even with the additional packages, it still took a lot of tinkering around because for some of the settings I wanted to access, I was not granted permission. I got a permission denied message, so it took a lot of Googling and a lot of trial and error in order to flatten that out. But in the end, I was able to connect a controller and a speaker wirelessly via Bluetooth, which is pretty nice. However, I will say that when you connect both of them, it does add on some lag, some output lag and some input lag for the controller and output lag for the speaker. So I'd say that's a little downside of it. So maybe it's better to use a wired speaker. Another major issue we had was not being able to download the RetroPie software directly, straight from the Pi using command prompts. I wasn't sure why. It wouldn't load a certain website, and I tried different networks, and it still couldn't download a certain file from a website. So in order to solve this, I loaded the software onto the SD card the Pi was using, and I ended up just installing it that way, and it ended up working. So I'd say that was overall a pretty good success. Another issue is we had trouble exiting out of the game. So once you enter a game, I would just have to unplug and replug the Pi. But then I realized you were able to configure that. You can set a button or a combination of buttons to exit out of a game. So that's what I ended up doing for that. And another issue was some games didn't load when they were selected. For this part of it, it was I think I figured out the issue. The issue is when it's the type of file. If the file is not a certain type, the emulator won't be able to read it, which means that the game won't load. So I learned that the hard way. So with certain file types, it's a little picky. The RetroPie is a little picky when it comes to certain file types. But when it comes to the file types, making sure you get the correct file type is very important. But overall, I'd say these issues definitely shed some light on the journey it took to set up the system. And even though these problems got really annoying and frustrating at times, I'd say it was a overall great experience for this project and helped us learn a lot throughout the journey.
Finally, we want to get into some of the lessons we learned throughout making this project. And the first thing I want to talk about is how we learned how to set up the retro console software, and that was actually not too difficult because of how flexible the pies are. Another lesson we learned was some of our team working skills and how to build the project as a group, which was very great because we all came together and I think we came up with a really incredible project. Additionally, we got to learn some troubleshooting skills that was previously mentioned throughout the other slides. And finally, we learned how to use hardware and software to enhance our gaming experiences through the use of the Pi and the emulator. And with that, I want to thank you all for listening to the presentation. We really enjoyed this project and enjoyed the opportunity we had to work together as a team. Thank you.